Go ahead and start talking.
Shout out to Cat's Pod. I got your dad right here. He came all the way through the crowd to come get me. He's a real one. You better love him so much and get him something for Happy Father's Day. Even though it's not Happy Father's Day, get him something. But shout out to the Cat's Pod.
That was Orange Julius himself. Julius, thank you.
Thank you so much.
Try to, you know what I'm saying? Make sure he get you a little present or something. Like,
That's
thank you,
awesome.
Dad.
There you go. Thanks, man.
There we go. That's what we needed. Now,
Orange Julius Davis.
Let's
on
go.
The Cats Pod. On the Cats Pod today. He is officially now a podcat. He did like one of our Instagram pictures too.
Let's go.
So he's on there. I am Ben Christians. This is the Cats Pod. I'm joined with my notorious co-host Eric Lover and special guest today, the Brad Holden. Welcome to the pod.
Emphasis on the special part is
Yeah.
probably
Very
pretty
special.
fair, but yeah, Die Hard happened to be Eric's brother-in-law, and we
Huge
all
Cat
seem
fan.
to watch the Cats games together and probably follow it a little too hard at times.
Yeah, we get a little bit too excited about these
Yeah.
games, but when Julius Davis just sends you a voice message, you know, how do you not get
Yeah,
excited?
how do you
know?
not get excited?
Shout out to my dad, Dean Christians, because I think he probably like stiff-armed 3 or 4 small children in order to get to Julius Davis. He did his best Julius and Davis impersonation in order to get that voice message for us. So shout out to Dean Christians.
Let's
Thank you
go,
so much
Dean.
for getting us that.
Just incredible effort.
Yeah.
That's all we can say about
Yeah. No, it's when Ben sent me this message, I was like, no way. Did Orange Julius Davis shout us out from the field?
Yeah.
Let's go.
I was
that.
thinking...
Gonna throw out, if you hear this, Mr. Orange Julius Davis, we would love to have you on here.
Oh, yeah.
Love to have you on.
Most definitely. If we could get you in an interview, that would be amazing.
Oh,
Yeah.
God. That would... I mean, I hate to say it would be like heaven, but it would be close.
It'd be close.
I mean, close.
I'm kind of ashamed to admit that when my dad first called me and told me that he had gotten this, I started actually physically shaking a little bit. I was way too excited about it.
It's really funny how this season has gone. You know, it's been like a steady progression of liking Julius Davis more and more every week to the point now where it's like, I'm pretty sure he could just not do anything and we'd be like, Orange Julius Davis, let's go!
We're like 1.5 yards. That's our dude.
That's our guy.
That's our dude.
Wisconsin, let's go!
So that was the icing on top of the cake of a pretty great game, right, guys?
Incredible game. Incredible team effort.
Both sides of the balls.
Both sides of the balls.
Both
All sides of the balls.
And right down
They
the
were
middle.
all great.
And right down the middle.
Right down the middle.
Well, yeah,
Both
I mean,
sides of the balls.
surrounded, all around.
It was pretty great. What was the highlight for you, Brad?
Personally, defense. Forcing turnovers again. I mean, that's when that defense is at their best. They're so opportunistic in their best games. And today, forced 3 turnovers, 2 interceptions, 1 for a pick 6 by the Zach Cruz.
Let's go. Thank you, Grizzlies.
And then a forced fumble also that we took. And probably had about 3 or 4 more chances that balls batted in the air. Incredible pressure by the defense. Defense looked incredible. Offense did their thing. Defense looked incredible.
Yeah.
There had to be some garbage time stats because throughout the first half when the game like really mattered, it felt like Efton Chisholm the third was
Ew.
he was pretty wrangled in.
I'm not sure you can say that on this.
Oh, it's just his name?
Oh, yeah.
His name is
my
like-
bad. I guess I must have heard it wrong.
Chisholm with
or
CH.
or was that we were saying it wrong all game? I
We
don't know.
could have been. Like, I don't know.
We might have been.
But he did end up with 9 receptions for 94 yards,
Yeah,
which
heck of a
surprises
player.
me.
Heck of a player.
Like, because I didn't see it that way. It
Yeah.
must have been like some garbage time or something like that where he ended up picking up some yards. But overall, like, they ended up getting
And
331 yards passing and 63 on the ground. Like, the run defense for the Cats is looking stout.
I looked at it earlier. It was 32 carries for 2.0 yards on the ground.
Yeah.
And that's we're coming up on the playoffs. That's where teams have to be built, is on run defense first. And our pass defense is very strong also. But yeah, that's big.
I mean, it
2
was
yards of carry. You can't get a first down on 4 tries at that.
it wasn't ever close. Not at a single point did they even show any kind of ability to move the ball on the Cats. I mean, there might have been a first down or two in the first half, but it was such a butt spanking.
Wasn't it 34-0 before
Hey,
they even
Ben.
scored? No, 27. No,
No,
wait.
14.
I
plus.
can't do math.
It
What is
was
math? Is that
41
41?
to
41-0 before
Before it
they
was
scored
41
at
to
the
7.
Yeah.
before they picked up that score right at the half, and like that's a dominant score.
Can we say that Eastern Washington is officially horse pucky?
They are horse pucky.
Horse
They are
pucky.
fraud. They messed me up. I don't know why. I don't know if I was thinking about like the past teams that they had, or if that was what was getting into my brain. But I thought this was going to be a much more competitive game.
Yeah.
I was worried this was a touch of a trap game, and I think it's just instead of what we've dealt with in the past with Eastern Washington, which officially we are only 5-12 against the Eagles all time now.
Yeah.
But we've won the last 3.
Mm-hmm.
But we had those years where ourselves were in college, where it was heartbreak after heartbreak in close, high-scoring games back with Big Play EA and Eric Berrier, and they were just heartbreaking our hearts.
Yeah.
And today the Cats got to exercise demons.
Oh
on
yeah,
the Eagles.
yeah. It
Yeah.
seemed like there was some grudges being held
Yes.
with this game. I mean, on offense, it just looked like easy. It looked like they could do whatever they want. It didn't matter which player was on offense; they would just bust it for 50 yards or something.
Look at the split receiving, rushing.
Yeah.
Can it get more similar?
I think-
275 rushing, 276 receiving.
But we're a one-trick pony, right?
Yeah.
We're a one-trick pony.
yeah.
We're a team that can only do one thing, right? That's what I've heard all year.
And look at the depth. I mean, look at all those running backs. All of them contributed in a huge way. I mean, Scottre Humphrey, massive carries. He didn't get a lot of them, but boy, he sure made it count when he had them.
9 different rushers today.
Yeah.
9 different ones, and everybody came up with some yards. Jared White had like a tough run on that one. Did he come up limping on that one?
A little. He was kind of holding his arm, which I know he did last week. I think it's somewhat of a shoulder issue. I hope he's totally healthy again by next week and ready to go. But he did seem to kind of hold his shoulder a little bit and seemed a little upset after the play.
Yeah.
But man, what a talent! But hopefully he's 100% healthy next week for the big game.
Yeah, that would be super helpful.
Yeah. I mean, there's just, other than just the offensive and defensive, I mean, can you call this perfection pretty much?
I would have a hard time coming up with any gripes with this game.
The
at
only,
all.
we had one blocked extra point. That's what else could you complain about? Probably the most well-rounded game the Cats have played all year, maybe against Weber State.
Yeah,
which,
Weber State was a
shout
fun
out. Shout out Weber State.
Yeah.
Let's go!
Shout out
Weber
Weber
State!
But outside those, probably the 2 most complete games the Cats have played all year is today and Weber State.
Yeah.
For sure.
I don't have anything to complain about. This was the funnest game I've watched, just to watch them come out there. They cleaned up the penalties. We complained about that before, that the penalties, they're dumb, just that was non-existent. I mean, there was, of course, a few, but
Did we ever get to see what the penalty was when Cleveland Thomas and Ty McCullough picked up
Oh, I wish.
that unsportsmanlike?
They
I don't
didn't
think it was on the
re-show it.
broadcast.
They never re-showed it on TV. We probably should have caught it live.
Yeah.
But I don't know what their celebration was, but I think it was probably worth it. Whatever.
They
I
had a
think it was
good one on the
definitely worth
first,
it.
on Cleveland's touchdown. They had a pretty good one. It was like I don't know. They like shook something. McCullough came up. He shook something and then like shoved.
Yeah.
Shoved him over backwards. I don't know what exactly it was, but it was pretty cool.
I
But
think they called it like a shake and bake or something on the broadcast. I don't know what it was, but
yeah, Rick
I'm
Moore,
wondering-
let's go.
I'm
Shout out
wondering if they
Talladega
didn't
Nights.
do 3 pumps.
Yeah.
Instead of only 2 pumps, like the Key and Peele sketch.
Yeah,
there's
we're
only-
like Cleveland.
only
We
2
told
allowed.
you.
Yeah, you can't do a 3rd pump. That draws a flag.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You can't
Third,
do a
third
3rd
pump
pump.
was a flag.
Yeah.
So that's
Definitely.
possible.
No, it was. I mean, the tight ends, even without our 2 starters, absolutely raking. I mean, and it's not just in the receiving game. I mean, they're incredible blockers.
Yeah.
I mean, there was that first touchdown by Sean Chambers. Lonigan hit that massive block right on the edge, completely opened up the hole, and away he goes for a massive touchdown.
And if you give Sean Chamber of Secrets
yes,
a lane to run through, he is going to make it all the way to the Golden Snitch.
yes.
Exactly. And want to throw out once again, I mean, the Cats have been top-notch at this. 0 turnovers. They've got to be leading close to the nation in turnovers lost. They are so good at protecting the ball, and that's when you got this incredible rushing offense and effective passing offense. As long as you keep the ball and don't give it back to them, we're going to be incredibly hard to beat, no matter who you play.
We saw that back against SDSU, where we just controlled the game by running well, not turning the ball over, keeping time of possession in our favor, and controlling the pace of the game the entire time. Second half didn't work out for us, with the toenail out. Yeah. But that's how we can effectively beat really good teams.
Right. And how about the emergence of this defensive line? I mean, as you call them, the killer bees, the B line. I mean,
the B line.
Let's go. I mean, it's what those guys are doing. I mean, Ben Seymour, I didn't see this before the season. Him having this dominant of a senior season. I mean, kudos to that guy for absolutely killing it. Yeah. Brody's everywhere, all over everybody, all the time. Seabass had massive plays. I mean, man, I just had so much fun watching this game. I love me a stress-free win. I love it. It's the best.
I just I watched the Players Lounge talking about Ben Seymour this week. Josh Perkins puts on that YouTube show that they have. And Ben Seymour was on there this week, and he was talking about his journey to get to the Bobcats because he was a JUCO kid, completely unrecruited by anybody. He got a spot on a JUCO team and just said, I'm going to work as hard as I possibly can to try and make this football dream keep going on. And he plans on doing the same thing at the next level. And I would love to see that because he is just a hard worker and he's willing to go through whatever. Coming from California and going to Montana cannot be easy, probably never playing in the cold and everything.
Definitely an adjustment for sure for a guy, and man, he's worked his ass off, and that's where he is now.
Yeah.
I mean, he's making plays, making big time plays.
Yeah, no, absolutely stoked for him. But yeah, I mean, I don't know that there's a ton to recap here. I mean, it was such a one-sided affair.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, we didn't even get to see Tommy or Sean in the second half. That's how one-sided this was.
Mm-hmm.
And so I just looked it up. Yeah, the Cats have thrown 2 interceptions all year. They picked off 12 balls. And then on fumbles, they have recovered 9 fumbles, and they've lost 3.
So 5 turnovers all year long.
5 turnovers all year long to 21 takeaways. Yeah. I mean, when you're winning,
hell of a differential.
That's the way. That's a big part of winning football.
Oh,
there. I mean, huge part of winning football. Keep the ball, score the ball. But, and also, shout out, Kautzman.
Yeah. 1
blocked extra point, but there was a lot of extra points kicked.
Oh, yeah.
And he made his field goal chance. So we are back on special teams is pretty strong again, where that was a worry a couple weeks ago. They're back to being strong.
It was a big worry.
Something we can have a little confidence in again.
No,
I was wondering if we missed something during this game, because when I was looking at the kicking, it says, I think we were on autopilot for a second during the end of this game, because apparently we missed 2 extra points, but we were just on cloud 9, so
we started kind of paying attention to Idaho versus Weber State towards the end, so maybe something happened there, but I only remember the one personally,
and I think we could transition over to that if we want to talk about the rest of the FCS now.
Yeah, let's go.
Great game for the Cats, but some big things also happened around the rest of the country for sure.
I know I was really pulling for North Dakota to upset South Dakota.
It was close there. It looked like, from what I could see, that they had North Dakota had a chance towards the end, lost it on downs. They were up 10-0 and ended up losing 14-10, I believe, unless South Dakota had a late score, which is very possible. But it was 14-10, and South Dakota had the ball. The last I saw, so 14-10 for sure. But North Dakota gave them a run.
Yeah.
But that South Dakota defense is tough.
They're very good.
I don't know if their offense is strong enough, but I do know their defense is strong enough to compete with anybody and everybody for the most part.
Well, I think their defense held them touchdownless.
Yeah.
And they scored a touchdown on a kickoff return. The opening kickoff, they
Yeah.
scored a touchdown. And then North Dakota got one field goal, and that was it. So yeah, South Dakota's defense is legit. Mm-hmm. But they win, probably going to be ranked number 5, I would guess.
Yeah. And maybe Idaho 6, but it's either one's 5, one's 6 right there probably.
Yeah.
I know you guys care a lot about defense and like actual quality football, but I feel like I need to talk about the uniforms for both North Dakota and South Dakota, because this is what I do apparently. I just talk about uniforms. They both look like generic teams that were created for a movie.
Yeah, well,
like they have the most basic like signage, everything. It just looks like these are fake things that were made on like Canva or something like that.
Or Madden, you create your own football team, and this is the first jersey they throw you.
Yeah, this is like the stock
and then you
template
can
for what a
change
jersey
whatever
is.
you want, but you've got this.
Yeah, but
This
we're
is
just
your
going to be
chance.
one color, another color, and then a logo, and that's it.
Yeah.
Yeah. South Dakota State rolled again.
Decent chance that I would guess if South Dakota wins their next game, they still have a chance at a seed, pretty good chance at a seed, but a decent chance that the Cats seed North Dakota because of regional alignments in the playoffs. They may be our first game.
Yeah.
South Dakota and North Dakota
were
like 12 and 13, right?
South Dakota was 6.
Okay.
South Dakota 6, and North Dakota was 14 or 15, I believe, or 12 or 11 or 13. So they were one behind North Dakota State. So I think it was North Dakota State was 11,
I think
and they were 12, I believe.
Yeah.
And then SDSU dropped one on Youngstown.
Yeah.
Ranked school there. I mean, that was a quality win, and they destroyed them. I mean, South Dakota State's doing exactly what everybody expects them to do. And kudos to those guys. They're a very good football team. I can't talk any crap about them.
Yeah, so strong. Both sides of the ball, just complete team.
Yeah.
Definitely very quality. The biggest thing for the Cats this week, outside of thumping Eastern Washington, is definitely the final score from that Idaho Vandals versus the Weber State Wildcats game.
Round of applause.
Weber State. Thank you, Weber State. You are our saviors. We love you forever and ever, or until the next time we play you.
Yeah. How can you get a better outcome for a day? Honestly, you get a massive stress-free Cat win, and then Idaho loses. I mean, we picked Idaho, and we thought they'd handle business absolutely no problem, that it wasn't even going to be close, and then they come out and they lose.
I think on the last podcast I said there are definitely some of these picks we make where we would not be mad at all if we lost on it. And we definitely lost on this one, and we are very happy to lose. I am the happiest loser that there is.
Opposite of man.
This is why I pick games, because I am the curse. And so when I pick this game, it's gonna go opposite.
Yeah.
You know, that's the curse is a tool for us.
Kind of like your sports betting.
I was really cheering for you not to get the over, and then the over hit. But I was saying during the game, I was like, I kind of want this over to hit. Because if Eric loses on one of his bets, he's going to be so pissy the entire time we record. He'll sit in the corner like a small child, and he won't be able to say anything.
Hey, I like to win, man. I like to win.
Yeah. And I am a gracious loser.
Yeah,
you know?
you are. You're much better at losing than I am.
Shout out to Ty McCullough for giving me my only hit of the entire day.
Oh, man. Big game. Big game.
I think he ended with 125.
3 big catches.
Yeah. What a pickup he has been. The perfect complement to everyone around the offense.
His speed, athleticism, incredible.
I mean, those cuts he was making out there, he was knocking guys out of their cleats. Yeah. He was wide open. There was nobody anywhere near him.
Yeah, he was so wide open that it was like, I feel like the quarterbacks almost like double clutched because they were like, why is he get that open? Yeah. Like they could have hit him out of the break. They waited until after his break, and he had 10 yards of separation from anybody.
Yeah.
And it leads to what he had 2 scores, right?
One for sure.
I know I think he had 2 scores because they got in trouble in the first, or they didn't get in trouble in the first one.
The first
and him
one
and
was,
Cleveland got in trouble in the second one.
Cleveland was the first touchdown
But
that they
I
celebrated
think
on.
they had 3 between the two of them. Am I wrong?
We will see in just a second.
2 touchdowns. Yeah.
2 touchdowns,
Yeah,
yeah.
two
And,
tutties.
yeah,
Two
so
tutties.
one of 51. He had I think he had a 30-yard catch and like a somewhere around 50 again.
Yep.
His speed and athleticism is just elevated this offense. Well, he only averaged 31 yards a catch today, so
Yeah,
on 4
I mean,
catches. So
we should work
that's-
on that because like Scottry
And
Humphrey
I
had
think-
averaged 63.
I think
So he
I
only
think-
had half of
which
that.
also was rather scary for a second. I think his first reception was the one he lost 5 yards on,
Yeah.
and he was down for a while.
Yeah. Yeah.
And we were all
were
pretty
definitely
worried because he has been such a boost to the offense. Then we were all pretty worried and was so glad he was able to come back in and then not only come back in, but dominate after that.
Mm-hmm.
3 catches after that for, I would guess, 130 yards.
Yeah.
Because that shovel pass was -5, so yeah, I think he was 130 yards on
Yeah.
3 catches.
And that was one of those little
That's like a Randy Moss stat.
chintzy like 12-inch passes
Yeah.
right in front of you.
Yeah, just a
It-
little-
It counts as a reception,
But it's really
yeah.
more like a handoff.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I think he had 3 receptions for 130 yards. That's
I mean,
nuts.
Yeah.
What a time for him to really break out when we're down our top 2 tight ends, and this guy is just cranking out stats like nothing
Yeah.
else.
Speaking of down our 3 tight ends, or our top 2 tight ends, number 3, Ryan Lonergan, big game again today.
Mm-hmm.
He only had 1 catch for 4 yards, but he made a huge block
Yeah.
on Chambers' big long run,
Yeah.
like for a touchdown. And he played really well again.
He helped him out a ton for
And
sure.
then Hunter Providence, freshman, came in, got 2 receptions for 8 yards. We got guys stepping up. That's big.
Yeah. For sure. What's the next thing that we got going on today?
Well, let's
Who's
see.
the other games that we probably missed a couple? North Dakota State actually laid it down on Southern Illinois, which kind of surprised me. I kind of thought Southern Illinois has never beat NDSU in the Fargo Dome, at least. I don't know if they've ever beat them at all, but
Yeah.
they haven't beat them in the Fargo Dome. I know that for a fact. I thought it would be a closer game, but NDSU smoked them.
Mm-hmm.
And then Furman held down their number 2 spot with a 37-3 win.
Yeah, it's going to
gives
be
us-
tough to move up. It's going to be tough to move up unless Furman lays an egg somewhere.
Yeah. But they next week they're 9-1 going against a 1-9 Wofford.
Okay, yeah, probably not going to happen.
Like I think Furman's going to be a 2. Cats win. We have a really good shot next week. We have a really good shot at the 3.
Mm-hmm.
See if Furman even makes the semifinals, but I think we would have a pretty good chance even if we got to go to them.
Yeah,
Oh, yeah.
It really, honestly, it doesn't even matter at this point who ends up 2, who ends up 3. As long as we don't end up 4 and on the same side of the bracket as South Dakota State, that's the goal.
And
right?
don't take this wrong because we all, we don't want to end up on the same side as South Dakota State. That doesn't mean we don't want them.
Yeah.
We want to play them, but we want to play them in Texas.
Yeah.
We want to play them in Texas for all the marbles. We don't want to have to go to
Exactly.
their house.
Yeah, Brookings
In
is
the-
not a fun place to play.
No,
in.
I mean it's a tough place to play.
Just
Especially
as
this
cold.
time
We've
of
seen
year.
it twice.
Miserable.
We've
They
seen
fill-
it twice in
they
the
can
last
fill a stadium.
last year.
Yeah.
The last time we had trouble even getting the equipment to the game,
Yeah,
right?
yeah. I mean
Yeah,
the
the
weather
roads were
was so
so
bad.
bad.
They had to from what I heard, the trucker had to take a long way around and drop in just to get our heated benches and stuff. Just because it was -5 or something like
Yeah.
that at kickoff. Which hey, Montana State boys are used to it, and no excuses for last year. They beat us fair and square.
Yeah.
And I will say we had a good chance against them this year. Probably should have beat them, but
Go down. Northern Iowa lost. They lost bad to what looks to be a fairly bad team.
that probably
Yeah.
knocks them out of the playoff picture.
I would say it would have to probably.
Yeah, knock them out of the playoff picture. If they get in, they're very much on the bubble.
Yeah.
Very much on the bubble.
Yeah, very
It's coming
interesting.
down to it for a lot of these teams, and I think there's going to be some hard decisions for the committee. I don't know. I wouldn't want to be on the committee.
The parity this year has been insane. I mean, outside of SDSU being the one and staying
Yeah.
the one.
Yeah.
And honestly, we got to give shout out to Furman for they found their way to 2 and they stayed at 2. The Cats probably should have stayed there themselves, but
Yeah.
they messed that up themselves. But really, it's been like the Big Sky's been beating themselves up. The top 25 has been beating themselves up on the
Every
whole.
single week, it seems like one person is dropping at least.
And this
Or
week
one
it's
team is
Idaho.
dropping a game.
Idaho this week.
I mean, top 10 is doing it once a week.
Yeah,
at
yeah.
least top, if not even top 5, maybe he's been doing it once a week
Yeah.
for a while now.
So you
Big
think-
Sky's had a lot of parity this year.
How
There's
far-
a lot on the line next week.
How far does Idaho fall? Honestly, 6?
6,
I
would
mean,
guess.
I don't
5.
know.
But South
It's
Dakota
hard.
wins,
Yeah.
so you probably got to move them to 5. So it seems like 6 would be a fair spot.
Yeah.
But when we lost to Idaho, we took quite the job.
Went from 2 to 6.
Yeah. So I think, they 3 to 6 would probably be a fair spot
Yeah.
for Idaho to fall.
How much do you guys think that our game against Weber State factors into that?
I think
Like, because
none.
we beat them 40-0, and
I
then
think
they
well,
lose
I
to
shouldn't say
them.
none, but it might factor to the playoff committee, but I don't think it factors much into this
Into
stats.
this ranking.
Like, I think we're all talking more about the stats poll because
Yeah.
we believe more in the stats poll.
Because
the
the coaches
guys
poll
who
is Forrest
sucks.
Puck.
Yeah, I think that's a lot of slot ranking, but I think it doesn't. I shouldn't say none, but I think it factors enough that, of course, they are going to drop back below us.
Yeah.
That's part of the reason why. But
Yeah, we just pulled up the top 25 real quick to take a look at it. Idaho dropping to 5 or 6 would be pretty normal for
yeah,
this. That's
I
only
don't-
one spot for them right now.
I don't see a North Carolina Central or a Delaware or a Florida A&M. UIW barely dropped last week after losing they went from like 9 to 10,
Mm-hmm.
and I don't see how that changes on the coaches poll.
I guess
at
did
least.
North
But-
Carolina Central win today?
Well, North Carolina Central doesn't even factor because they're a HBCU school, so they're chasing their celebration bowl.
Yep.
So
Oh,
it's
okay.
really they're not a factor as far as seeding when it comes to playoffs.
True.
Sacramento State could possibly find their way still into a seed.
That is
Somehow,
absolutely. They get blown
which
out.
I can't really agree with personally. I think they should be close to it, but I don't know if they should deserve it. But they're still sitting at that 9 spot, and
They're one of those teams that has looked really, really good at times,
Oh,
and then
incredible,
they've
but-
looked absolutely horrid, like that game
against
that
the
they
good
played
teams.
against. Yeah,
Against the good teams,
Mhm.
you know,
Yeah,
like
when it
they're
comes to a
the
ranked
reverse
school.
Grizzlies right now,
Right.
because the Grizzlies are playing bad against bad teams and,
And then
good
good
against
against
good
good teams.
teams.
And,
Sac
hey-
State does the opposite.
we gotta I know game coming next week, but Grizz have been looking really good right now, and we'll see what they do tonight. 30
Seems-
minutes from kickoff.
Seems like a
30
good
minutes
time
till we get to
to,
go watch that game.
Maybe we got some fans of Portland State listening. We can pump those guys up.
Exactly.
Get some good energy going.
We got to
for
post
Portland
this
State.
thing right away. We'll
Yeah.
get it posted right after we're
There
done,
could possibly-
and then we're just trying to hype them up.
Yeah,
Could possibly
you know?
be a cherry on top of the day, but
Oh, that would be amazing.
either way, we do have to throw out next week. Really is for all the marbles of the Big Sky Conference. No,
Most
either
definitely.
way, now that Idaho lost,
Yeah.
you've got either way. If the Grizz win tonight, one of us is the outright champion. Whoever wins the game. If the Grizz lose tonight, if the Cats win, they're outright champions. I've got that wrong. Gosh dang it! If the Grizz win tonight, we will be fighting for.
We'll be going for it. Like,
Well,
next
yeah,
week is
either
going to
way,
be
it's-
the biggest game
biggest
nationally
game
and for the Big Sky.
and for
Yeah.
the Big Sky. Either way,
Yeah.
because of Idaho.
Conference and
If-
across the country. It's
If
going to have
I
huge
got it right
implications.
now. If Montana loses tonight, and we lose next week, we will be co-champions.
Yep.
Probably 3 ways, unless Idaho State beats Idaho.
Yep.
But and then if the Grizz win tonight, then it's just for outright. Whoever wins
Yep.
the conference outright by their own.
And boy, it would be nice to just have one winner of the conference for once. Because
Oh,
it
yeah,
seems like
we
every year we
split it.
split it.
Because everybody beats each other up.
And Sac State won it last year, right?
We were
Co.
last year.
Can you guys remember a time when Cat Grizz was this big? Was this big of a deal?
In a way, it was kind of last year. I mean, we were 6 versus 3 last year. I want to
Yeah.
say, in a way, but I don't think it's as big as this year.
No,
Especially as long as Montana wins tonight.
Yeah.
You know, and I expect Montana to win tonight. I mean, Portland State is a good team, really good on offense, but I still think Montana's playing really hot right now. I think they'll keep being hot, and we'll see what happens next week.
We know what's happening next week.
Yeah,
That's a good. What do you guys think is going to be the key in this next game, though?
Talent.
Just talent, strict talent. Yeah,
pretty much.
This game's going to be one of
roster for roster. I think that we have the Grizzlies down.
Yeah, and
like they have a very quality running back. That freshman running back that they have is tearing it up. He is very good, and I am cheering for him to go to the transfer portal as fast as possible. Honestly,
yeah, but at the same time, we've got 6 guys that I wouldn't trade him for.
No, I'm not saying I would.
But
I would try and get this guy. I'm just saying
so,
that it's somebody that could be a problem down the line.
Yeah,
if
like
he
he
keeps
can transfer
developing
somewhere else. He doesn't need to come to Cats because we're full up on running backs, and I wouldn't trade a single one of them for our top 6 probably for him.
No. Really, it's going to be whose line wins on every single play.
Yeah.
Whose offensive line is better? Ours. Whose our defensive line is better? Ours.
When I've talked to most Grizz fans, the thing that they point to with their recent success and the turnaround of the team is their defense and their running game. And I think if the Bobcats and the Grizzlies play a game where they go running game for running game and D-line for D-line, I'm taking the Bobcats 10 times out of 10, no matter what, because of how stacked we are at all of those positions.
Every single
the number one will probably be we'll still be the number 2 rushing team in the country after this week because we didn't hit some of our ridiculous numbers from early in the season.
Because we pulled starters at halftime.
Yeah. We could have gotten like 400 yards rushing if we wanted to in this game. But if you stack up the guys from the Grizzlies with the Bobcats line for line, I don't see it happening for the Grizzlies.
No, it's just it's a difference in recruiting and it's a difference in athleticism. And the Cats have shown all season long that you could maybe hang with them, but they're just going to run away from you because they never tire and they have so much depth.
Well, and even look at where we had a bad game a couple weeks ago. I think there's a hangover after you play the Cats because it's just so physical.
Yeah.
You see what happens to these teams after that are ranked teams play the Cats, and then outside of SDSU, which has kept rolling, other teams have stopped rolling after they played the Cats.
Yeah.
Even Idaho. I mean, it took 2 weeks. Okay, maybe that's not a fair assessment, but look at what happened to Sac State right after. Look what happened to Weber right after. I mean, they're wore out. That game just wears you out because that's what the team does. It wears you out, and that's what they're built to do.
And that's what I was saying like early in this game too. I think was eventually we were going to wear down that defensive line. Yeah. Like our offensive line, because the first few rushes that Julius Davis had didn't go that many, and it took 2 drives, and all of a sudden it was 7, 14, 21, 38, whatever, just boom, all the way up there.
You know what the Cats are going to see next week is a lot of blitz, which the Grizz do. They always blitz.
Yeah.
But you're going to see a lot of run blitz. The question is, do the Cats have the plays to run away from that? You're going to see a lot of big plays if it's away from it because the offensive line is going to get their guys right. It's just whether the Grizz fill the holes that are left. Mm-hmm. And so if the Cats have the plays set up where they go left when they didn't need to go right or opposite, that's going to be what you see early. Yeah. But by second half, you still got to know they're going to be wore out. There's no chance they're not going to be wore out. Yeah. It's just a big, strong line.
You just keep going
that
after
just lays on you.
And they have 2 quarterbacks that have incredible vision.
Yeah.
So
and playing at a super high level right now.
Yeah, and if they blitz, they're just going to toss the ball. They're just going to toss it right back to the running back, let him go after it.
Yeah, and honestly, with
assuming Taylor Housewright don't get cute with things.
Yeah.
I mean, I think we showed last year the way that blitzing worked for the Grizzlies.
Yeah,
because they blitzed at them all the time, and we cut people for 10 to 15 yards on every single play.
Yeah,
and I'm very confident that we have the play calling and that the offensive side of our coaching is completely ready for the Grizzlies. How could you not be?
After watching this,
and you know the team's fired up. I mean, could you imagine Orange Julius Davis by Friday? Like, they might have to put him Like, he might be
He needs a
pulled
straight
out
jacket.
like Hannibal Lecter.
Yeah.
In Silence
That's
of the
what I wanna
Lambs.
see.
They probably should do that with
Yeah.
a face mask and like just let him out.
Just
let him out.
Roll him out there because he's a
Be
killer.
fired up.
He's an absolute killer in
and you
everything.
think he's fired up usually.
Oh yeah.
Oh, and and we talked about this last episode. Bobby Houck teams love to be unsportsmanlike and get penalties. And now, go take a cheap shot on Orange Julius Davis, see what happens.
Because
he's gonna gash you for
found out
150.
what happened.
Yeah.
NAU for sure found out what happened. And if they
don't
do that
make
again,
that boy mad.
No. Don't make anybody on this team mad, but especially not Julius Davis, because Julius Davis is going to go at you every single play. He's going to run over you, through you. He tried to hurdle 3 people today. Yeah. He had 3 people stacked in front of him.
And he
he's
almost
like, I'm going to get over it. And he was so close.
He was so close. And they were all standing straight up.
Yeah.
That was the thing. And he almost made it. He got 5'6" probably.
Yeah.
He couldn't quite cover 6 foot.
Yeah, he was right there.
There is a
so
reason
fun.
this guy got recruited to Wisconsin. Ty McCullough got recruited to Colorado State.
Yep.
I mean, these guys are obviously better than the Big Sky Conference.
Hey,
and they're showing.
Just so you guys know, please, if you could please just stay, please. I might cry if any of you guys leave. Just because we're saying you're great doesn't mean you should leave us, please.
Please.
Just remember, if something bad happens, we still got your back.
We got your back. And we're still going to cheer for you no matter what school you go to.
Yeah.
It's the same thing with Afonso this year.
Yeah,
We'd love to see the way Afonso has been playing. But we would rather see you guys playing for the Bobcats and winning national championships.
Yeah.
You know?
Well,
but
I will say the only positive part of Infante leaving is now we get to see some Orange Julius Davis because they are such similar players with just a little differences to them.
Yeah.
But both just ran so hard and like it's just right back to the love we had for Infante. Yeah. Right back at you, Orange Julius Davis.
Oh yeah. I feel like I need to yell, "Hey, we want Afonso right now." And I'm not going to do it, but I do miss him because I would sit in the stands at those games and it was just, "Hey, we want Afonso" for like an hour. You know, I was probably annoying to every single person in the crowd around me, but I just was a big Afonso guy. I'm a big running back guy. I don't know why this happened.
I love running backs. Love running backs.
Yeah, it's probably my favorite position room.
Yeah. Especially on this team where there's so many good ones.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And they're all sticking with us. I mean, Elijah Elliott still here. Scott Trey Humphrey, young kid. Hopefully sticks around.
Oh man, because that kid's got a super bright future. I mean, you imagine him and Jared White here in the future.
Yeah.
I mean, that's a 1-2 punch like you can't imagine. And Julius, we still got one more year of him too.
Yeah.
If he'll stick around, we'd love to have you stick around. So
yeah. No, it's.
I feel bad that I even put it out into the universe that he might leave. He might not have thought about it until just right now.
yeah.
He's
probably
like,
what the fuck is he talking about?
Yeah. I would love that if that was his response.
Yeah.
You know?
No, it's just fun to have a talented team on both sides of the ball for the first time in. I mean, I guess last year was a really good team in the year we went to Frisco but it just seems like this is well rounded.
It's a little different.
Yeah.
It's a different level. Like we just this year, it's just guys everywhere. There's just a guy at every spot, and every single spot at every single time. And then bring in the second team today.
Second team
Look
was
at what
insane.
Zach
They
Cruz,
still score.
shout out, dude.
Yeah.
We need you back again next week, dude.
Even
But
Jordan Reed
that
was like 7 for 11, and he was making good decisions and running the ball for a few yards when he needed to. And he looks like a player that could be legitimate.
Yeah.
Especially, how do you not get great when you are sitting behind Sean Chambers and Tommy Malott?
Yeah.
Like, how do you not improve vastly just by being around those guys?
I mean, just existing in the same room as those guys has to help.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, just being around it.
Couple of just class act, just guys about the program. All that. It's not about me. It's about we.
Oh yeah.
The whole time as quarterbacks, and man, I mean, both of those two guys are so fun to watch.
Yeah.
Because neither one cares whether it's them or whether it's Sean or whether it's Tommy. They both just seemed genuinely happy for each other.
It's the culture we bring up all the time that Vegan has established. You know, he took a roster that wasn't even his and molded it into a potential national champion.
Oh yeah.
And has run with it with incredible in-state recruiting as well as incredible out-of-state recruiting, and working in the transfer portal and just basically creating something that can mix and match and sub, and nobody cares. I mean, you had Brendan Hall gets his kicking duties taken away, or place kicking duties taken away, and guess who the first person to high five Countsman is? Brendan Hall.
Him. Yeah. Always him.
He don't care.
I mean, Countsman kind of. I think he has to jump up.
Yeah.
Give Brendan Hall a high five. It is kind of. It's kind of emasculating.
A high five for Countsman and a low five for Brendan Hall.
I think he gets the elbow. It's a 5 to elbow.
Yeah. Did you guys know that Brendan Hall's 6'9"?
Yeah, did you know?
Do you guys know
that?
Did you know?
No, I hadn't heard.
Did you hear that?
Okay, enough gushing on the Bobcats. We are sappy. I'm over it.
It's just such a good week. We're so happy.
Okay, one more. I love you, Orange Julius Davis. Let's go.
I love you, Orange. We love you. Was there anything else you guys wanted to talk about this week before we
let's hit our picks real quick.
Hit our picks for
this week
for
the Big Sky Conference.
Big Sky Conference.
No, what we
we
right
did
wrong.
pick.
Yeah.
So we were okay.
Oh, that's the wrong screen, Ben. Come on.
Yep.
I thought you were a professional.
Yeah.
Brad, our behind the table here is.
And we're back. Okay, sorry. I had to pause because we had to change screens and everything, come up with our other stats. We're going to go over our Big Sky Conference scores. For this week, we only don't have the Grizz game versus, why am I blanking right now?
Portland
State. Okay, that is the only game we'll be missing, and we won't be able to tell you if we picked that correctly. The first one we have here is, we have Montana State beating Eastern Washington.
Called it.
Next one we talked a little bit about already. That was Idaho versus Weber State. And we picked that one incorrectly, and we're not mad about that at all. No way.
Nope.
Next one was Northern Arizona versus Northern Colorado. The Battle of the North. The Lumberjacks did win that one, 28-7. We picked that one, right?
Yep.
Okay, I just want to throw out, you said Battle of the North, and neither one of those are that north.
I mean, they're both the northern. They're northern.
Yeah, I know.
It's the northern and the
But I'm just saying. I'm just saying.
I'm not saying, but I'm saying. You know? I didn't know Santa Claus was here to argue with me. You know?
Kick me
He's
off.
like, oh,
Kick
you guys in Montana think that you're north.
We are pretty north.
Yeah, we are pretty north.
The only people who can say that we aren't is Canadians.
Yeah. Canadians got us on that, and that's the only way that they've got us.
Only. And whiskey.
How about that?
As much as Eric would disagree.
I completely disagree. I mean, I don't know if we should start this argument right now, but
this
American bourbon is over. You know?
Let's go. American bourbon 2-1. You lose, Brad. Sorry.
All right, you guys.
It's over. I'm drinking a beast
some
right
guy,
now. You know, the classiest of drinks.
Yeah, you really have it figured out. But
How
I'll let you guys keep going. But we don't need to get into it.
How about Cal Poly
You're both
hanging
wrong,
30
though.
on Sac State? I mean, they lost, but they hung 30 on Sac State.
Yeah.
Have they won a game yet?
What is going on with
yeah.
Google? Google has Cal Poly marked as the winner, but it was 41-30.
Yeah, Sac
What
State
is
won the
going
game,
on?
but
Yeah.
Cal Poly's. I mean, and we talked about it when we played Cal Poly that their quarterback was actually a pretty
He
good
played
player.
pretty good. He was actually a good player. He just didn't have the players around him.
It's kind of like Dante Chachere. I love the name. Chachere.
But
the more times you say it, the less you can pronounce it.
Yes. So it's what you say when you go to auctioneering school.
Yeah.
Chachere.
That's actually how we warm up for the podcast. We both say Sachere back and forth. You know?
I say how now brown cow a lot.
Yeah, the how now, the brown chicken brown cow, the how now brown cow.
It works.
But right now we're 3 for 4 on the Big Sky.
Yeah.
Like it's looking pretty good. UC Davis is playing Idaho State as we speak, and they are tied up at 14-14 in the fourth quarter. We're definitely gonna have to watch the end of that game once we're out of here.
Yeah, tie
but
game.
It's pretty good for us so far.
Yeah, I think UC Davis probably gonna pull that one off.
Mm-hmm.
Just inkling.
So we'll call it 4 for 5.
Throwing this out,
Yeah.
I kind of hope UC Davis pulls it out. So then Idaho State in-state rivalry game next week, their big game.
Yeah.
Yeah.
they show up with a little extra
Little
because
piss
they
and
got
vinegar.
little angry.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
That would definitely be helpful for us for sure.
Speaking of, going 3 or 4, 4 or 5, whatever. I went 3 or 4 on sports bets this week. Let's go.
Did you?
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah.
You haven't just been
How'd
talking
you
about it
do,
for hours.
Ben? How'd you do, Ben?
I went 1 for 3. I went 1 for 3. Shout out Ty McCullough. I love you. Only a little bit less than Julius Davis.
The only one I missed was I had to ride that Tommy 1 pass, 1 rush touchdown again.
Mm-hmm.
Didn't hit this week, but
It would have if the game was closer.
Yeah.
we talked about it midweek. That point spread was way too little.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, it was the 3rd game all season. We've been less than 20-point spread. Of course, we were taking that.
Yeah.
And the over came close. Mm-hmm. I did not expect the over to hit when we were blanking them all the first half. I had pretty well signed off that one, but that one hits. So, Ben, maybe you ought to tail me sometime.
I don't want to do that because I'm going to curse you.
Yeah, true.
If I do that, then you're going to lose money.
Like
and then
you
we're both
said-
losing money, and it's not
Like
fun.
you said, the gracious loser.
Yeah.
The terrible winner.
Yeah.
We're together on
So
that.
that's tough. That's tough.
Oh, yeah.
You're stuck in a bad spot.
I'm in a bad spot
Bad
here.
spot.
I'm in a bad spot, Jim. And then losing has now become part of the brand too. So I almost feel like I have to lose because if I start winning, people might not like me anymore. I won't be sympathetic if I start winning again.
Hey, and while we're talking about sports bet, can we just complain 1 second about not having an actual sports betting platform and we still have to use junk Sportsbet Montana?
It is still
I'm
pretty
so
bad.
sick of it. Last night, you had to set your phone. You're doing it on your phone. You
We
had to
went
set your phone
and we went
on
to
it.
3 different locations.
Yeah, looking for it.
Yeah.
Thing.
Yeah.
And the
We had
people
to
keep
search
getting
it
rid
out.
of them.
Yeah.
It's just ridiculous. I'm so sick of it. And you're doing it on your phone, and you had to set your phone on the sports bet machine to get it to work. I mean, this is it's getting ridiculous.
It is.
I'm so sick of it.
It is bad.
Okay, I'm done.
On that
venting.
note, we got to shout out real quick to our boy Roger Fisher,
Let's go.
who had another great sign out there in the stands today with
Yeah.
his EW sign.
Ew!
Was he talking about Efton Chisholm III when he had that?
You
U
can't
sign?
say that on air. You can't say that on air. It's a
sorry,
bad
sorry,
word, man.
sorry,
Come on.
sorry. Oh, my bad.
Ew.
EC the third. My bad. I think I just want to thank all the listeners out there.
Yeah.
Big shout out, thank you to my dad for going to the game today and definitely
Thanks, Dad.
drumming some stuff up for the podcast. So
You're the man,
it was
Dean.
good. It was huge for us.
I want to thank these 2 guys for letting me come on here. If you guys all hate me, just write it, and then I won't ever be back.
Yeah.
Don't compliment me in the comments. Just give me hatred.
Yeah.
I just want your hate.
It fuels me. Fuels a fire inside of me.
Yeah.
Like,
We did get one good comment last week from one of our podcasts, and he called the Grizzlies fat drunken squirrels, which has been good for a few laughs for me the entire week. So that was pretty good.
Yeah.
Thanks everybody for listening. Make sure you follow, rate us 5 stars on whatever platform that you're on. If you can, download multiple platforms and just follow us on there. Just send it to download. Get our stats up. That's gonna get us some maybe better production here, so I don't have to do this all on the fly the entire time.
Yeah, and sending we want comments and stuff too.
Yeah.
Send in comments. Let's get some dialogue going. Just some new content.
honestly, even if you're saying whatever we said was dumb,
Yeah.
Catch us on Instagram or Twitter, and please, this week, if you could drop your prediction for Cat Grizz, if you want to give us a score or just give us how you think the game is going to go, we would love to hear it, and we'll definitely give you a shout out on the podcast and give your prediction out loud on there.
Yeah. And hopefully sometime we might even get a player on. Maybe. It's a dream.
that would be awesome. And also, I'm just throwing this out there. I just jumped on here. If anybody has any questions they want to ask for the podcast, definitely drop those in the comments. What do you think about this? What's your guess for this? What's this? That would be, it's another thing we can talk about.
Yeah, definitely here to respond
these
to
guys
all your
at least.
questions for sure.
Yeah. So probably chat Wednesday night again, and
We may be having 2 enemies on the podcast Wednesday night.
yeah, we're going
It's
to
possible. We're working on it. They may back out at the last second because Grizz fans.
Yeah,
But
The-
we're trying
the
to get a
fan
little
base runs
debate
real
going
wide,
for
but it
this
doesn't
Brawl
run
of the
very
Wild.
deep.
Exactly.
Doesn't run very deep. But yeah, hopefully we can get 2 Grizz fans on and just destroy them.
Oh yeah,
Rip
we're gonna
them limb
make
from
them.
limb,
We're gonna make them look
turn
like
them
the
into-
drunken squirrels that they are.
Yes.
All right, thanks everybody. We'll catch you guys on Wednesday. Let's get pumped up for the Brawl of the Wild.
Oh man, I can't wait. Can't wait. We all can't wait.